So the first question of the day is from Anorama Holistic Therapies. He asks, or she asks, the future of England. Are our kids safe in school with what we are hearing about agendas? What's going on with the massive migration upon us during lockdown? And are they going to attempt a food shortage or more division amongst us? Who can we trust or look to, please?
Right, we feel that question is from someone who has not been listening to our messages, but we will unpack it for them. Your children are more highly evolved than you are. Your children are more protected than you are because they are more closer to source. You need to trust that your children need to socialize with amongst themselves because they get the higher vibration energies from each other, so they will be safer at schools. There was an agenda to harm the children, and they've been doing that through vaccinations. So your short time that you have left until the shift, you can choose to send your children to school to socialize and to connect and help with their higher vibration classmates. And you do not need to worry or fear about them being in danger because they do have their own spiritual teams and they have overseers watching. The children are very important to us at this time because of the energy that they bring and provide to the earth. So you can relax and rest assured that your children are okay. In terms of the immigration that is happening, you are all one. For people who are still concerned about immigration and having to share their country with immigrants, have some work to do within themselves. And we would like for that person and anyone who has issues with immigration and sharing their land mass with people that they feel is foreign to them, this is something you need to work on. This is lowering your vibration, and your concerns should not be focused on others right now in that way. You need to still all have inner wisdom and connect with self. There's not one guru that we recommend you listen to. You are all gurus. And so we say with love that the person who wrote this needs to explore more of these videos and unpack it, because there's still a lot of fear going on. And we understand everyone is at their own levels of understanding what is happening in this very, very interesting times. There is no judgment here that we feel upon the person asking those questions, because those questions are very valid for her and others. So we hope that this does not offend, but we don't want to dilly-dally around with information right now, and we want to say the bigger truths.
Okay. The next question is from Krista. Is the ascension really going to happen soon in 2020? I'm so hopeful, but sometimes it seems to be too good to be true. I'm so looking forward to a new Earth being in 5D. It's all I really want now.
Yes, we understand that we're all in a pause pattern. You just want it all to hurry up and happen tomorrow, if not today. We understand that the people who, soon as you know what's going to happen with the big shift, moving off this reality seems to be all your main focus. So while it is hard to be waiting, you have to be patient, because still other things have to take place first. And other people still need this time to catch up. And while you all think you are ready and super eager and happy to do it today or tomorrow, it's still going to be quite a shock that the reality is changing so dramatically. And so use this time, use this very short time that you have to enjoy the third dimension and find the smaller things, the simple things in life that give you the greatest joy. And you are all capable of doing that. And if you are in a room by yourself still feeling very bored, you know, you've got work to do on that. You know, you should be okay with your own company. And if you have to go within to connect with us, we're all here waiting for you. No one should be bored, and we understand you want to get a move on. But there are still lots of things you can do, even helping others. If you've already got your own inner work done, sorted, maybe you can look around and see the other people who you can see are still struggling. If you see people struggling financially or emotionally or physically, and you are able to support them without depleting your own reserves, then maybe this is when you should start doing something for others. Don't waste this time. This time is very important still.
Okay, the next questions are from Kane. There's quite a few questions. And the first question is, if it's appropriate to know now, can we have details exactly of how we'll be helping others?
Is he asking about the questions now, like helping others in the third dimension?
He said, I would like to know about the structure of reality in the 5D immediately after the event. First one, will we have instant manifestation in New Earth?
Right. Well, you all have the skill sets to do it, but you're all training to learn how. And so, you know, there's many analogies that we can give you about strengthening up your new skill sets, which you've always had. So it is just strengthening up those and rediscovering them. And once you accept you have them, once you accept the reality that you're in, you can start quite quickly mastering these for yourselves again.
What exactly will that look like? Will there be any time in between visualizing something and manifesting like we have in the 3D?
No, it's instant. And so the manifestation, say for example, you wanted to manifest some fruit, you would simply have it in your mentality of needing something, and then it would literally manifest itself instantaneously. At the beginning, you may need to strengthen your true intention. You may be half-heartedly wanting something, but still expecting it fully. And so you have to train the mind to 100% have full intention of what you want. And so that's the learning curves. And as soon as, it's like riding a bike, you will fall off a few times, but then once you get your balance and focus, you'll be fine. It's kind of like that, but not really. But we just wanted to use the analogy.
Would we be able to live without food and water if we chose to do it right away? Will we still feel thirsty or hungry?
You do not have the desires of the food because your bodies will be changed. You will eat because your body will need energy and fuel. Your surroundings will nurture you. Your environment, your skin will absorb the energy as well. So you're not feeding your stomachs. You're not eating your emotions. You will not be doing the same things that you use food for. So you will need to drink fluids and you will need to consume, but not to this extent that you're doing now. And your light bodies, the more you evolve and the least physical you are, the least physical food you'll need the more your light bodies have become less physical.
So how long until we, although there's no time in the 5D, how long until we just have 100% light bodies? And what will it feel like to hug each other immediately after the event? Will we have a physical weight to us?
Yes, you will not be 100% pure light. And when you arrive on the new Earth, you will still be a representation of your current bodies, but they will be to your idealized perfection for your own taste standards. You will have, you know, the ultimate bodies that give you the most confidence and joy and your true reflection of selves. So you will still feel and sense others, and you will still be able to embrace other beings who are at the same frequency level that you are in, and you'll still sense them, but you will not need to necessarily have the physical contact, because you can just look at each other and sense each other just as profoundly that way. You have so much more senses than you do in this current reality. So it will be tremendous, and it might actually be a bit too overwhelming to have the physical sensation touches to start off with. Think about two electric, it's not going to be like this, but if you can imagine two electric forces, you get not electric shocks, but there is extra energy, and you will be, when you first arrive on New Earth, overwhelmed a little bit with your own energy within you. And so we don't want to say it's like putting your tongue on a battery, but there is something like that when you touch other people, and you'll enjoy it. But the first few things you do will be a little bit new and shocking, if we want to go back to the licking tongue battery analogy.
So we will have telekinetic and telepathic abilities. Will we be able to fly? And how long after the shift will we be able to do this?
So you will have the greater mindsets of connecting with each other mentally, and as we said, you'll be able to connect with each other physically without touch if you so choose. You will still be able to speak, but it will become so, the words have always felt for some meaningless and lackluster in the way you feel. And so while you can still use language, you will over time speak less and less, because words are so limiting, and you will be able to understand each other and comprehend each other and the different senses that you have when you're on the new Earth, and also like when you are in different other planets around. Not everyone listening here will be going to the new Earth, and their home planets have just as much senses, if not more. And so we don't want people to just think that this amazing experience physically and emotionally and mentally is only held just on the new Earth. That's not the case at all. So we just want to remind people of that.
So will we have an interest and ability to enter altered states of consciousness?
Well, yes, you could still go and tap into Source and your guides, and you could still have that time away from being present in your fifth dimension to be able to go in and connect deeper and further. And most people will find comfort in that, because they will believe that there is such a connection after their great experience, because they will remember what's happened to them in the shift, and it will be easier for them to understand that they are bigger beings, so they will want to connect in more. So they won't just want to be aware of just the fifth dimension.
Is Nostradamus' old map of the Earth after the shift Is Nostradamus' old map of the Earth after the shift? Sorry, it didn't make much sense, that question.
The question is New Earth map a representation of the old Earth that is left after the destruction? And we say to you, yes, it is very much a similarity of what is left over after the natural disaster events. And so we're on a new timeline now where that is not the best case scenario. The best case scenario now is for people to be evacuated off the Earth onto a new, brand new Earth designed for them to evolve dramatically. If they had had the lesser experience where they had just simply survived on the old Earth, they would not have been able to have the physical evolution upgrade to their light body beings. And so it was only going to be a fifth dimension mindset upgrade if they were going to survive in that environment. But it's changed now.
What will the population of the new Earth be? Will there be any preference of where people will live? Will the climate basically be the same all over the new Earth? Or will there be variation? Will there be day and night?
There's lots to unfold that. That's a good question. The day-night, there will be the sun, so there will be a day and a night, a change, and there will be seasons, but they will not be dramatic. The weather will be pleasant, but also beneficial to be able to balance and grow and nurture the earth and keep everyone in harmony. There will not be the man-manipulated weather that will be changing things. It will be natural. It will be having its natural flow. There was more questions for this. What was that?
The population of the new Earth?
Right. The population of the new Earth, we see 40% of the current population will be on the new Earth. And Joanne is saying that doesn't sound like much.
So will there be any preference of where people will live?
You will be connected to like-minded beings. So if you're going to group together in different locations, so you're all together supporting each other. Joanne's still wondering why there's only 40% of the population on the Earth. And she has shown that a lot of beings go home and not all want to go to the new Earth. And then there is some population that have decided to stay behind.
And about the climate, will it basically be the same all over the new Earth, or will there be a variation?
It will be very habitable. It will not be bad weather. It will be consistent throughout. There will not be any massive big changes compared to one place to another place. Will not need to have that.
Okay.
It is very balanced.
The next question is from Nick. I'm sorry, the next question is from Nick. I honestly thought I would be happy throughout all of this. I'm getting more and more depressed. I know we have a great positive future, but I'm being dragged down by 3D. My body hurts and is tired all the time. I have no motivation and everything seems boring and old. Even going out and walks and bike rides isn't doing it for me. There is just a huge pit in my heart, like I'm all alone. I know I am stronger than this, and I know that I have the love to be okay, but it's too hard. What can I do? What can we do if we are struggling like this?
He can understand what he is going through ascension symptoms, which is releasing the blocked emotions that he has had. And he may not feel like there is a much blocked emotions now, but we are referring to the childhood and the past lifetimes that have not been resolved. And so it does have releasing and purging. Those ascension symptoms are very typical and normal for people who are getting ready for the shift. He is very sensitive and empath. So he's actually taking on board a lot of other people's emotions that actually do not serve him. It's the confusion of people knowing intuitively that there is big shifts and changes happening, but consciously they are in denial. And so he is getting the confusion and the heaviness around him from other people, even just people he's walking past on the side of the street. He's not aware that he is a conduit for their negative, negative is a hard word, for their blocked issues. And so he's trying to process that, and we encourage him to take off his shoes and walk on grass to help him quickly ground himself down. If he wants to use water as well, showers and baths will also help process that energy that no longer serves him. And he is very much aware that he has a greater home to go to, and he does long for that home. He is incredibly homesick. And this is a lot of people are experiencing the same feelings without even understanding why. And so those people are trying to figure out if they should move home or move country or move towns. They are in this feeling of being on pause. And so we understand, and we cannot do much apart from guarantee that when the shift happens, it will be all worth it. And if he can spend his time potentially seeing if he can help others, he needs to find joy, and there is lots of joy to be found. So we understand where he is at, and we give him strength and courage, because he is a bigger being, and he's just a little bit impatient and also dealing with a lot of other people's energies. And so we say much love to him, and we will be in contact with him soon.
Thank you. So this next question is from Danielle. Assuming the elections go ahead before the event, I am in New Zealand, but also keep a close eye on the US. In the big scheme of things, does it matter who we vote for, who wins the elections? Does it have any effect on the ascension process? Thank you.
Nothing can stop the ascension process. It's been going on for a very long time. This has been planned for much longer than who currently is standing in the roles of trying to be elected. We are aware of both parties and both countries and all politicians and their impact on humanity today, and have all politicians have had impacts on humanity for all of the time that we have been observing. So we understand this is a very good question, because people are afraid that voting may somehow impact them. And yes, while voting has impacted people in the past, nothing's going to stop this ascension. So regardless of who you vote for, nothing's going to stop this process of the big shift and the evolution of humanity.
Thank you. She also asks, I am confused about the afterlife. So there's a realm where we go when we pass over. In that realm, are we our higher selves, or still a human body? Are all of our previous incarnated bodies in the afterlife? I just don't understand. So I would appreciate any enlightenment.
You do not have bodies. You are not a body, you have bodies. And so therefore she's trying to understand her soul essences from all her other past lifetimes, her higher self, her subconscious, and her ascended master of self. She's trying to understand where all those locations of those current beings are, and they are soul essences. She physically has a human experience body, and when we will not use her because she's not asked us to give her personal information out this way. So we will say the hypothetical grandmother who passes. And when we're not talking about the shift, we're talking about the grandmother that died in the 1940s. When she passed over to the veil, she may have spent some time watching and observing her families, how they conduct themselves. She'll be watching people from the other side. She has not fully crossed over. She has not seen her life contract purpose. She has not seen her life review as such. She is still just lingering and watching with love, and she cannot affect the living, but she is observing and learning more. And when she feels like her family is done with the grieving, and she has observed as much as she wants, and she's learnt the lessons that she wants, and then she will fully cross over and become back with source. She can, before she crosses back to source, but after she has died, she is a light body. And so her carbon-based body has gone and been buried or cremated to her or family's wishes. So when she has passed on, but she has not crossed over to the other side, as such, she is still lingering. She is still learning blocks, and she is exploring, and there is lots to do if one soul wishes to explore that. And then when she decides that she wants to follow the light and go back to source, and she can then have her resting and refocus and decide with her higher self if she wants to be reincarnated again, and she can rewrite her new life contract and potentially come back as another being on earth. And we hope that that will explain to the person in the question about the in-between, the afterlife. There is different dimensions, shall we say, where people can observe, and the heaven, in quotation marks, is what we would say is being connected back to source and returning to source energy.
Thank you. The next question is from Roland. Sorry if I got your name wrong. What will be happening to the background people, as Dolores Cannon used to call them? What percentage of the actual population do they represent? Also, are the galactics part of the holographic illusion we are part of? And is the new 5D another construct, illusion, or matrix? I can cut that question down for you. The first part was, what will be happening to the background people, as Dolores Cannon used to call them?
So the background people have conscious minds, but they are not the people that you would know as such. They are just the queues in the malls, queues at the airports, people in the cars. They're just the full up people. And they come down, they have a purpose to pop into what you perceive as a physical body and to play out their roles. Some may have speaking roles. That may be something that they would want to experience and try. But others just want to be there to feel the energy, to observe, and to be part of the illusion of what you're experiencing now. That's how we would like
What
to
percentage?
people.
Sorry, what percentage of the actual population do they represent?
We see the first number we saw was 20, but then it flipped to 80. So Joanne's confused because she feels like they want to say that it's a human being to a real, and then the 80% are the backdrop people. But we're not seeing.
Interesting.
It's confusing to Joanne.
Okay. Are the galactics part of the holographic illusion we are part of?
No, they are real. They are monitoring and focusing. They are outside of the illusion.
Is the new Earth another construct, illusion, or matrix?
Yes, it is. Which has its own new set of perimeters and boundaries, and it will be still learning and exploring, and it will be more real than surreal. But then you think that you're real here in this illusion. So it is hard for you to see the difference from this point of view, the full extent of it.
Thank you. The next question is from Infinite Soul Blueprint. I can't recall if you talked about this, but how are we getting to the new Earth? Are we taking some form of transportation, or will we just be there all of a sudden? Thanks so much for all the great information you share with us.
For the people who are shifting to new Earth, they are being activated to be lifted and put into sleep-like states as they are transported to the new Earth. And there is a time for that journey from the old Earth to the new Earth. And when they awaken on the new Earth, they will have no recollection of how they got there or the time that it has taken for them to travel to get there. We understand that even though people are starting to understand that there is a shift in an event, what we're going to say to some will make them feel like this is all they will disbelieve it because they still haven't understood the greater picture here of what's happening and who they are. And so therefore, when we say you've been transported by ships, some of you may just think that is just too much for your comprehension to understand, and that is okay. You're not wanting to understand, and you don't need to understand. You're going regardless, and you're safe, and you are being transported. And if you want to think of it as an Uber or a taxi or a train or a bus, know that when you get picked up to go onto your journey, you will fall asleep. And when you wake up, your transportation would have gone. And it will be seamless. that you will be grateful for the people who are not going to New Earth, but will be taking and being evacuated off Earth. And they will go onto ships and they will explore and go back to home or other places that are appropriate for them at this time.
Thank you. The next question is from Christina. Our kids, the future of schools and the transition from current awful school situation, uncertainties and regulations into the new education system and whatever that may be. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with us.
We understand the question, but we also say that this is from a 3D worry mindset. When you shift onto the new Earth, you will have new systems in place, which will not mean old education systems. It will have no repeat systems as such, because all of the ones you are so connected to have got the wrong agenda for humanity in place. And so your children who shift with you will be going and learning and rediscovering, just like the adults, their original skill sets, remembering who they are and exploring their true gifts. They do not need to learn the school systems here, because they're not the true systems you should be knowing. And so you'll be going back to be connected more profoundly to each other and to the environment on the new Earth. And so that will be your school, and it will be wonderful. And the children who are lagging, who do not want to go to school now, will be so excited to explore, just like the adults will, to learn and grow, with seeing the real results of learning and growing. And they will be all applicable and appropriate, and you can apply them all, what you were learning. And so it's all very relevant. Also, if you wanted to learn something, you can manifest that knowledge by using your mindset to have true intent of wanting to learn something, and it will be given to you. It's a different way of life completely. And we want to say to you, just like the person that we said at the very first, and we understand you worry about your children, but remember, your children are greater beings. They're more connected to source. They are very protected because they are the vulnerable. And we want you to remove your worry and fear as a parent, because the spiritual teams have them. And we want you to focus on your own growth. And we say this with much love.
Thank you. The next question is from Ryan G. How long will we live on the new Earth? Will we die from old age? How could we die if there are no diseases? Will there be still evil?
There will be no diseases on the new Earth unless you start going and losing your path, and you start creating and manifesting, festering negativity into your lives. And this will be possible for you to do that because you are so powerful, and you can start creating once again disease and issues into your body. But you will be bigger, better mindset. So you will, soon as you start doing that, you will see that it does not serve you. And so you will not ever get back to this low density mindset of doing such harm to the body. Remember, your bodies will be less and less and less physical as you evolve on the new Earth. You will not die. Your bodies will become less physical, and then you will move off, and you'll either go back to source or you'll do something else. You will not have the normal age set because you're so different. You've evolved so powerfully, and because your bodies are so healed, You get to explore the new earth and all the dynamics and all the lessons there, as long as you want, and while you're still interested and connected to community. You may want to spend a lot longer than you would normally, say, for example, on earth. There is no evil on the new earth, and with the better conscious minds of each other being more evolved, nor should there be. However, there is no guarantee that things may not get misused once again, but this will be monitored and nothing will be hidden, and you still will have free will, and there will be karma on the fifth earth, which will also, the fifth dimension, new earth. And so the karmic cycle that people have so struggled to get away with on this reality dimension, this will be part of the reason why they potentially will not want to come onto the new earth, and instead of evolving from the current location after the shift, they will not want to go to the new earth because they are not ready to do the cycle again. They will choose to then go either back to source and have a restful time and rework out their life purposes and plans for potentially their next reincarnation, which could be on the new earth at a later date.
Thank you. The next question is from Amy. Can you just pick some person who is shifting and explain how that will look? What will they be doing the day of? What will happen to their body? What will the people left behind think? How will they realize they've shifted? What will they see? What could they expect to be doing for a short while after? Sorry if this is too much.
We can give you a description of what could be happening. Let's say this person has no idea about the shift and they're just going along their daily lives. Everything will seem normal and fine to them, even though conscious, at a deeper level, they have a sense that something else is going to happen. But they will just think it may be some food or some anxiety or something that's not settling in well with their bodies, or they may not notice anything at all. And then so at one point they will notice abnormalities with the sense of color, sense of movement. The slowing down of time will be very surreal to them, and they will not quite be sure what is happening, but it goes just so smoothly that before they can really sort of panic and think what is happening here, their vibration expands and they feel more connected to their bodies just as they start leaving their bodies. And it will not be painful. It will be the same as taking off a coat. It's a layer. And so you will feel the coat suddenly feeling very heavy. And so as you just release the coat, knowing it is just merely not you, but it has been a part of you, shall we say. And as you just feel yourself expanding and rising, you'll feel so much emotion and so much wonderment and amazement, and also it will be concern, but also you won't be able to buy into the concern and worry, because it will just be overwhelming, but in a positive state as well. So it's a lot of emotions that run through your minds as you notice. And then there is an experience of incredible light, the bright light is so bright you could close your eyes and still get a sense of the light. And it's very pure. It feels warm and it feels welcoming, but it's also very, you feel a little bit disorientated as you sort of fall and slumber into a sleep-like state. It's like you're going, we don't want to say back into the womb, because that gives you the wrong connotations of things, but you are very nurtured and supported, and you feel very safe and nurtured, and there is no fear there. And then you will experience a time delay. You will not be aware of time at all. It will be like you're in a frozen state, but you will not notice it. You will be completely in a little warm bubble, a sleeping warm bubble, shall we say. And then you will be transported to wherever you need to go. If you will be going to New Earth, you potentially will not notice the ships that you are being transported on. If you are going to your home planet, you will sense your light bodies as you shift onto the craft, and you will have your veil removed then, and you will notice and be aware that you're being transported on a ship, and you will see many other beings who are also pretty shocked that something this epic has happened. A lot of people will have no idea, so they will be like, am I dreaming? This feels really real. Look, I can hit myself, and I can do weird things. I can feel this dream, and it will be too surreal for some people, and other people will be aware of it, and they will be able to help each other, saying this is, like, relax, this is normal, this is what we're wanting to do. Just take a minute to regain who you are and notice you've got more memory of who you are, and you will start quickly remembering what has happened. It will be very surreal, because you will have the greater memory then of who you actually truly are, and you will remember your life contract that you had to come and experience and participate in the human experience, and why you came to Earth. And some of you have been here a lot longer than you anticipated, and it is taking a toll, and you almost feel like you need a holiday from what you thought was going to be a holiday. So it is a lot of emotion, but it is positive. There is a lot of stuff that you will not want to think about again, because it will bring you down, about the Earth and what has happened, and how a lot of people don't know. And there is a sad component to it that people do not want to dwell on, and you just have to see it from a bigger picture and accept it for what it is, and celebrate and be happy for the people who have evolved naturally onto the new Earth, and the people who finally get to go home.
Thank you. She also asks, so a person who knows that they're going to the new Earth, or have a feeling that they're going to the new Earth, what would they be doing in the weeks leading up to the shift, and what will we be seeing on the news?
So there will be lots of natural disasters. Some people will notice it, some people won't, because they will not be following the news, and they will be in their own little 3D reality bubble, physically, we shall say. And they've chosen this time to go within and enjoy what they can in this reality before the shift. They will also be balancing being impatient with the shift, as also realizing there are other people they could be supporting. It's a fine balance of using your time now and not dragging people kicking and screaming to tell them essentially the world is ending. You need to rise your vibration and go with the earth, or go back home, or worst case scenario, get stuck on this earth and see a whole lot of hardship. And that sounds too hard for a lot of people to even wrap their minds around, let alone telling someone who is completely oblivious to a whole lot of other stuff. So you can use your time to go within. You can use your time to gently suggest to people, do you feel like there is something big happening? The small conversations. Remember, just because your friends aren't posting their spiritual beliefs about the shift on their Facebook pages or their Instagram or their social media accounts, doesn't mean they don't know, and doesn't mean that they're coming to their own exploration of understanding what is happening. Remember, people don't want to talk about this publicly, or their spirituality publicly, because it's a private matter, and until you all have the absolute 100 proof when you're on the new earth or back in your home planets, you will not be able to really prepare yourself emotionally for it, because there will still be a little bit of doubt there, and that's quite normal. So use your time. There's a lot of things you can do, and if you are feeling bored, helping each other is such a rewarding thing to do. And while you know that this shift is going to happen, and you know that there should be no pressure of you to still be under the peer pressure of not speaking your truth. You can now speak your truth to your closest friends. You don't need to tell them what their truth is. You can just tell them what your truth is. And there's many ways that you can go and support your friends and family, and understand that just because they don't know about the shift also doesn't mean they're not going. So don't feel like you have to red pill everyone, as you would say. You can just love and support people and be there for them, and just being there for them without even talking about this is going to be helpful. It's hard because they're so stuck in the third dimension worry, fear, that they're very draining on the people who know that the shift is happening. But knowing that you can take their heavy emotions and their fear and worry, and you can hold and support them for a conversation, knowing that you can ground yourself and remove that negativity from them and help them, even without having to discuss what's going to happen. So remember to love each other as versions of self, extended versions of self, and try to really be there and really look at people in their eyes and show them that you're not afraid. You're not afraid of the virus. And you're not afraid of all the crimes against humanity, because you know that justice will be served. There is nothing for you to feel bogged down by. You know that the shift is happening, and you understand all that we are saying to you. You can release everything, knowing that it is an experience. It's a human experience. All your emotions are just experiences, but they don't define you. That really, this lifetime is a limited version of you. And we're not trying to offend you or shock you here, but it truly needs to be viewed like that. So you can release all of the smaller worries and things that are still holding you back.